stuck. I think it's like 140. So we'll wait till the number gets up, and then I'll let you do an update for us. Okay. So in the meantime, I want to welcome everyone to our afternoon webinar. Super nice to have you. I really appreciate you coming on this late in the afternoon, but I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I'm really excited about the topic tonight. You know, what do I do when I get a bad review? I have actually followed the speaker, and I can't wait for him to share some of the tips and tricks of what you do, because that's super important. So again, we're going to wait for everyone to get on. So it's still kind of early. I want to make sure that before we start, we have all the announcements ready. So give me just a second. Okay, so with that being said, Chuck, you want to give us a little update about the PPEs and the situation of how it's doing right now with all these offices going back to work?
Sure thing. Well, Kay, thank you very much. So my name is Chuck Cohen, and I'm happy to give a brief PPE update because that's the questions that we get most often at Benco these days. The good news is dentistry is opening up. The challenge is the supply chain on PPE hasn't quite caught up with the demand, especially from dentistry. So the challenge we've got in dentistry is a number of the products that we need going forward have been restricted away from dentists towards the frontline healthcare workers who are fighting the pandemic in hospitals across the country. And that is by order of FEMA. We're hoping that that's going to change over the next few weeks, and we will start getting some access to N95 masks made by 3M and other trusted manufacturers. And we're hoping to get more gowns and some other things. There's nothing to worry about with gloves. But we are hoping that the PPE supply chain does start to pick up so that our supply matches the demand. The main message I want to leave for everybody is we are working as hard as we can to get you what you need. We are coming up with some solutions that are a little outside the box, and you can certainly talk to your Benco rep if you'd like to get access to some of those. And then finally, we warn everyone, and I can't say this enough times, please only buy the PPE from a trusted source. There's a whole lot of counterfeits going on out there. We've looked at 100 different options for masks over the past 5 or 6 weeks. Only 1 or 2 of them have met our standards for efficacy and for paperwork and regulatory. So please, you're not doing yourself any favor to buy product that might be counterfeit, because it will not provide the protection that you think it will. So buy from a trusted source, Benco, Shine, Patterson, somebody you know is going to stand behind the products they sell. So don't be fooled into buying counterfeits, especially on PPE. If it's, as the ADA itself said, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Okay.
Thank you so much for that update. So with that being said, before we get started, I'd like to go over the CE guidelines to make sure that we all understand how it works. So number 1 is that make sure that you've registered in your legal name. What I mean by that, if your nickname is Bill and your license say William, make sure that you put your legal name when you register for the webinar, because when you turn in your CEs for credit, it needs to be in your legal name. The next thing is that you also need to log in on your own device. So if 2 of you are watching it, please make sure that you're each logged in. They're time-stamped, so we'll know exactly when you signed in and when you signed off. We do ask that you stay on for the complete hour. In order to receive the full CE, you must stay on for the complete hour. And then if you're logging in on your cell phone, that's fine. However, if you're dialing in and you're listening to it on your cell phone, we can't see your name. So what we'll need you to do is to please provide us with the title of the course, your name, and your cell number that you're calling in on, and we'll be able to cross-reference those to make sure that you get your CEs. So again, that's really important. And what I want you to email that to is practicecoaching@benco.com. Again, that's practicecoaching@benco.com. And I'll put that up for you later, so don't panic. I'll make sure you have it before we leave. Also, if you'll notice below, you'll see something that says Q&A. We definitely want you to ask questions along the way. We want to know, we want to make sure we answer all your questions. And so the speaker will absolutely interact. Some of those questions will be answered live. And if we don't get to your question, what the speaker will do is they're going to answer all the Q&A, and everyone on the attending will get a copy of the Q&A, so that you have all the answers. So that's going to be easy to do. So don't worry if we don't get to your question. We promise you it will get answered. So I think, and it takes about 30 days to receive your CE, so don't panic. If anything happens and you don't receive them, again, just send me an email to practicecoaching@benco.com and we'll make sure we take care of you. So with all that being said, this is my favorite part of my job is to introduce the next guest, I guess the host. And so with that being said, I know Benco has worked really hard to keep everyone updated on PPEs. I can't say enough about the Benco leadership team and the team that Chuck Cohen and the Cohen family manage. You've done an amazing job, and I'm so honored to work with you. So with that being said, I would love to introduce Chuck Cohen, Managing Director of Benco Dental, to introduce our speaker. Thank you.
Kay, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to share the stage or the screen with you, as it were. To be honest, I really didn't know Dr. Tao before about 5 hours ago. And earlier today, I had the privilege of spending some time with him on his Facebook Live feed. And I will tell you, it was a very impressive performance. We learned a little bit about each other. We broke some virtual bread. We had a little chat. We had a little nosh. It was a lot of fun. And he's like a Philly boy, which is great. So he's right down the road from us. So welcome. And we are glad you are here, Dr. Tao. So this evening, we are privileged to hear from Dr. Tao. He's one of the foremost experts on social media in dentistry. He does have a practice, a smaller practice, but a practice nonetheless. He's working several days a week in Northeast Philadelphia. He's going to share his ideas this evening about what to do when you get a bad review. It happens to all of us. And Dr. Tao, thank you for sharing with us tonight, and thanks for being here.
Well, I appreciate it, Chuck, and I appreciate both Kay and you inviting me to do this. And we did have a great time chatting in the Raving Patients Facebook Live today. So thank you guys for inviting me, and I hope everybody does enjoy the 55 or so minutes I'm going to share with you. I do this presentation all over the country. So first off, please ask questions. I will get to them. And this is about one of the calls I get every single day or an email I get every day is, oh my God, I got a bad review. What do I do? So to begin with, I actually want to start off by showing you COVID-19 reviews. And these are actually good reviews. But I made a prediction a couple weeks ago about how important reviews were going to be post-COVID. And I wanted to show you this. And this was a review that, and by the way, Google started releasing reviews yesterday. So up until yesterday when COVID started, Google stopped letting patients write reviews and actually show them. But these were reviews that literally were left in the last couple of days. But this is an example of how important reviews are now, and they're not going to be about the dental experience. They are going to be about the COVID experience. So please remember that. Okay, excellent COVID era experience. Temperature taken to the door. Doors already open, so there's no need to touch a handle. No one else in the waiting room. Taken right back to the exam room. All staff in medical equipment. Dentist in 2 masks plus plastic protective shield. Insurance to be billed before payment expected. In no invasive treatment avoided for the moment. And this other review. Thank you so much for all you do. I really appreciate how protected I felt against the virus in your office and all of the precautions you were taking. This is such a big deal. So before I even go into the negative experiences and what do you do about negative reviews, you need to be getting reviews from your patients, but expect them to be talking about the COVID experience. That's what they're going to be doing now. So please understand that. So this is a review, and I like to show this first because this is real life in my office. December of a year and a half ago, December 2018, I got this review from a patient, and I'm showing it to you. Basically, she slammed me on Facebook. I mean, she ripped me apart. She called me a scammer, unaffordable, unethical. I mean, she said that I was the worst dentist in the world. She said that I was scare tactics and pressure sales to drive the business to me. She found me extremely overpriced, highly unethical. The Hippocratic Oath means nothing to this man. I mean, this was probably one of the worst reviews I've ever received, but I'm out there. I mean, I show you what it's like. This is me. This is real. Okay. As Chuck said, I practice 2 days a week in Philadelphia now. Most of my time is spent running the dental division for Bird Eye. This is not a sales pitch about Bird Eye. So please don't think I'm going to pitch you anything here, but this is real. And this is one of the worst reviews I've ever gotten, and it ruined my day. Okay. But I will show you how it recovered at the end of the day, at the end. But this happens, and this is going to happen to everyone. And you do not have to crawl into a hole and worry about this. There's ways to recover from this, okay? But it happens. So please don't worry about it, okay? Because the worst thing you have is you do have control. So these are examples of reviews that are on Yelp, and this would happen to be in San Francisco. And I'm going to kind of read snippets from all of them. I felt very uncomfortable. Many of the procedures were done in a place where none of my personal information was private or secure. I felt exposed. Billing errors, the one on the bottom here, billing errors mixed with a heavy push for Invisalign left me with a very bad taste in my mouth. They charged me $314 to my debit card after my insurance didn't cover my full appointments. Where to start? Right in the middle here. All right, check it out here for my review on this place so far. Just my experience of trying to make the first appointment as a new patient on my mother's behalf. Okay, so and they read reviews, and I knew I was about to pull some teeth of my own to getting things accomplished. Overall bad experience, ended up going for my first visit consultation, but never return afterwards. Will only return if I was able to pull their teeth. Interesting. Bad experience, cleaning part was brutal. They don't hold back, they are not gentle. And the last one on the lower right here. This review is for the Blossom office. I hate writing reviews, but I have to for this office. This is by far the worst dentist I've ever been to. I was there on time for my appointment, but I had to wait for 45 minutes before they saw me. Okay? So if you read it and look at those reviews, they are all something you control. They don't even talk about the dental experience really, except the teeth cleaning part. Okay, they are all about the customer experience. And that's what you're gonna find most of the time. They do not mention the dental procedures. They don't know if they got a bad filling. They don't know about the crowns that don't fit. They don't write about the bad dentistry. They write about the customer experience they're having. So you do have control, okay? Now, these are the COVID-19 bad reviews that you'll see. Okay. And remember, this is brand new stuff. So this was a review on Facebook. You know, they were talking about the PPE fee that people are charging. I would say time to change dentists. Why is it our responsibility to pay for that when they already charge so much for what I do? I'm not against dentists, but let's face it, they can lower the price of a crown and filling by $15, not trying to start a fight or be disrespectful. These are what's happening now, guys. Okay, this one up here was a written letter about the fact that we're reopening. You know, I'm not going to your office because I'm afraid that my father's going to die. I mean, this is literally a letter that my dentist got. Really, you're going to charge every patient $10 extra for PPE. This is a cost of doing business to me. And as a normal practice, you already have these items like gloves, masks, disinfectant. Sorry that you had to be dormant during the virus, but that was your choice. Are you joking? What exactly does the $10 fee attempt to cover above and beyond what you normally provide before the virus? Is it really worth losing the revenue from patients who choose to go elsewhere rather than fund your overhead? We have to sit in a car before the appointment so there's no contact with others. And how are we supposed to wear a mask when you have to have the teeth worked on? This better not be the new normal. I would appreciate a reply. So this was all over Facebook recently. This is what you have to avoid, but it's going to happen. Remember that, okay? So everybody's talking about the patient experience, the new patient experience. We're making patients feel not welcome. So personally for me, I'm not charging a PPE fee. Okay, I'm raising my fees in my office just in general, and I'm incorporating that fee in there. That's my personal experience. I'm not charging for a virtual consultation. I never have. I'm not doing that. Okay, so those are just what I'm doing in my own practice. So the reason that you're getting bad reviews is you're overlooking the crucial part of the journey, which is you're making a patient feel not welcome. So you want to create this wow experience for a patient. And if you do, that's how you're going to get these positive reviews. But especially with COVID, make the patient feel welcome. Give them a tour of the office. Okay, go back to the old school, make it personal. I've now turned off, as we start back in the practice in Pennsylvania, I'm meeting with my team tomorrow in the office. We're taking everything out of my waiting room. We're cleaning all the surfaces. I'm putting up a sneeze guard. I bought a UV cleaning system for my rooms. I bought 2 air purifiers. I mean, we're redoing the office completely, but we're going back to a personal approach where we're turning off all automatic confirmations. We're calling patients. We're sending them the COVID survey by text message after we speak to them on the phone. I want that personal approach given back to them so they know that we care about them. That's what we're doing in the practice. So the goal here is to exceed the customer expectations, go the extra mile, and under promise and over deliver. Because if you do those things, you will have a great patient, but you will avoid the dreaded negative review. So we don't live in a world of 5-star experiences. So don't expect that all reviews are going to be 5 stars. They won't. It's impossible. Okay. So every day I get a call from somebody and says, oh my God, I got a bad review. What do I do? It's going to happen. We are dentists. I always say it's dental practice, not dentist perfect. We cannot be perfect. Remember that. So we're going to be talking today about what I call reputation marketing. And that's what we're going to focus a lot of our attention on. So before we get into the negative reviews, I want to talk about why online reputation is so important. And here's one of the reasons, because anything you do online marketing wise, whether you're doing paid search, so paid search is Google AdWords, Facebook funnels, those types of things. Whether you're doing organic search, which is SEO, so you're paying Google to put you at the top, or you're paying a company to put you on the top of a Google search. Whether you're doing display advertising, which is retargeting, or you're doing social media, whatever you're doing online, you're paying money for this stuff. If you don't have the reviews as your foundation, you're going to be wasting your money. The reputation enhances the performance. So before you're wasting money marketing, get the reviews. So I would tell you the minimum number of reviews you should have before you start spending money on marketing is about 75. Okay. Now, of course, if you're in an area where the dentist down the road has 350, that's the target number you need. I was talking to a dentist yesterday in Phoenix, Arizona. He has 3 reviews. His neighbor across the street has over 400. That's his target to be competitive. Keep that in mind. So your patients care about online reviews, and you need to as well. This is one of the best tweets I've ever heard. Shout out to people who rate and review things, because I don't like to rate or review things, but I like to know how things are rated and reviewed. So he doesn't like to write reviews, but he certainly likes to read them. Okay, he wants to know how things are rated and reviewed. And that's how most people are. They don't love to write reviews unless you prompt them, but they certainly like to know how they're rated. Okay, so we are a reputation society. We read reviews about everything. We go to the movies, we read reviews. We go to a restaurant, we go to Yelp to read the reviews. When people go to the dentist, they read reviews. I'm telling you that. So this is a local consumer survey done by Bright Local. Survey came out in 2019 in December, so this is a brand new survey. And these are some of the results. What business type have you read online reviews for? And third is dentists. Okay, and in our target audience, which is 35 to 54-year-olds and 55 and older, medical and dental and healthcare was third in the 35 to 54-year-olds and second in the 55 and older crowds. That's our target audiences. So people in our age group that we're targeting are literally looking at reviews for what we're doing. How many consumers read online reviews for local businesses? Okay, so do you read online reviews for local businesses? 82% of consumers read online reviews. And 52% of 18 to 54-year-olds always read online reviews. Always. What's your next step after reading a review? Okay, 32% visit your website right after reading a positive review. And only 12% continue searching for another business. So pretty specific data there. When reading a review, what do you pay most attention to? 58 look at how recent the review is. So they want fresh, recent reviews. 57% look at the overall star rating, and 50% look at the quantity of reviews. Now, 60% won't consider a business with less than 4 stars. But 40 is the average number of reviews needed for consumer trust. So if you have less than 40, you don't even have trust of the consumer. So keep that in mind. Now, this is crazy data to me. How recent does a review need to be to impact your decision? 48% want reviews within the last 2 weeks. And 86% want the reviews within the last, think reviews in the last older than 3 months are no longer relevant. 86%. So if you look at your reviews in the last reviews a year ago, there's no relevancy to those reviews. They're irrelevant. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at reviews. If you have old reviews, you need fresh reviews. How do online reviews impact your trust with a local business? So 74% make 74% of consumers make reviews trust your business more. So you need positive reviews because it's a trust. And what happens when patients trust you? They buy from you. I always get dentists who are struggling and they only want 5-star reviews. And I will tell you, you do not only want 5-star reviews. And this is why. Because the star rating I trust the most is nowhere near 5 stars. Okay? If you have only 5-star reviews, you are not credible. The reviews are considered fake and you are not trustworthy. So the perfect score to me is somewhere between 4.6 and 4.8 or 4.9 stars. Now, if you have 10 or 15 or 20 reviews, having 5-star reviews is fine. But if you have 300 reviews, you do not want all 5-star reviews. I have about 266 or 267 reviews on Google right now. I have about 20 or 25 negatives. I'm very happy. I'm content. I have 4.7 stars. I'm very trustworthy online, but I have about 1,700 total reviews online and about 90 negatives. Okay. So this is what it's like. Okay. It's made me a better person because I've taken the feedback I've gotten and made myself into a better dentist and a better businessman and a better boss. So you've got to take the feedback and know when to use it and when to change what you do. Okay. I always say I'm a New Yorker, grow up in New York. I live in Philly now for 20 something years, but I'm a New Yorker, and unfortunately I piss some patients off with my mouth and I get myself into trouble. And I fully, it's my business practices. I want my money up front. That's just the way I do my business. But I learn from the mistakes. I learn how to correct it, and I become a better businessman. So that's what it's like. So for which of these local business types does reputation matter the most when choosing a business? 45% is medical and healthcare is second. So that is how important these reviews are. So please keep that in this is mine as we go through these things. So this was a Google review study for just on dentists, and 84% of dentists have Google reviews. 38 is the average number of reviews. 4.6 stars is the average number for a dentist. So just to give you an idea of where you stand. So after being referred a business, what do you do next? Now, again, this is kind of a word of mouth referral. Well, 87% search online to find information about the business. And 52% of the time they're looking for online reviews and ratings. So that kind of gives you an overview of what they're looking for. But you have to be proactive. You cannot be reactive. So I'll tell you a little story. So I got a call from a dentist about a year ago, and this will always stick in my mind. And he says to me, I need your help. I was like, okay, what do you need? He goes, well, I have 3.5 stars with 48 reviews. I'm like, okay, well, that's not very good. That's actually quite bad. Well, I looked them up, and there were like 28 of the reviews were about the person at the front desk. So I was like, well, this is pretty obviously what you need to do. And I was like, you need to fire that person at the front desk. He goes, well, that's the problem. It's my wife. So his wife was causing the problem with the reviews. So I told him that literally, and I'm direct. I said, well, you need to divorce her then. And he hung up the phone and he didn't call me back. So obviously he didn't like my answer, but that's the answer I gave him. He needed to make a change. And I look him up every so often. He still looks bad online. He never made a change at the front desk, and you go about your business. So, I mean, you have to be proactive. If you don't fix the problem, you're never going to get better results online. Simple as that. So this is a very common scenario for a dentist. Young guy with a toothache. Okay. He finds you via Google. He calls you uses an iPad to find you online, and he calls you with an iPhone. If you're not visible using any of these tools, such even having a mobile website that's very visible, you're invisible. You're not going to be found here, and that's going to help you prevent you from getting found to have the person even call you. That's a problem, number one. But this is how they find you. Okay, this is a sequence of events. They call you on the phone. The guy comes into your office. There you are working on him. Okay. But there was a problem. And the two most important problems you find online is money and you ran late. That's the two most common complaints. Okay. So the guy is mad. He leaves the office. Okay. And remember, today, everyone is a publisher. They could be now, again, this is actually good, I guess you can say, because nobody's going to be waiting in your waiting room anymore. Okay. They're going to be sitting in their car. Okay. And you could be running very late, and you need to warn everybody when they're coming into your office that they may be waiting in their car a little longer than normal. But everybody could be waiting in their car and saying, hey, can you believe this? My dentist is running so late, and they made me sit in the car during this time frame. Okay. They're not in your waiting room anymore. But everybody's a publisher, and they can actually write a bad review while they're waiting for you. Okay. And they go home and they write and they yell at the computer. Okay. They scream and yell. And they put reviews on sites like Yelp and Twitter. They can tweet out literally that. I still remember I got a call from a dentist, and he got a bad review on Twitter, or a patient tweeted out. And the tweet was literally, can you believe it's 9 o'clock? I'm at my office exactly on time, and the dentist walks in 15 minutes late. So the dentist showed up at 9:15. So the dentist reached out to me, and he literally said, Len, I need your help. I keep getting bad reviews because I show up 15 minutes late to the office every day. That was what he said. What can I do about that? And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, set your alarm earlier and show up on time. That's ridiculous that he would even ask me that question. But people were writing bad reviews about that he was showing up late. That's an easy behavior to fix. Okay. So do something like this. Take a negative and make it a positive. This sign made national news many years ago. Come in and try the worst meatball sandwich that one guy on Yelp ever had in his life. That was brilliant. Okay, this was a Yelp review, obviously. Okay, so I want you to make buzz out of a negative review. And this was a whole story that was created because of negative reviews. So check out this business. This is the Bato Italian Bistro. So he got sick and tired of what Yelp was doing to his reviews. And I give a whole class on Yelp, so I'm not going to talk about Yelp here all that much. But he will give you 50% off on any pizza if you give him a 1-star Yelp review. He is the worst rated business on Yelp. He's got, at this time, 1,203 1-star reviews. So he can't stand Yelp. He doesn't like how Yelp is running their business. So Yelp has forced them to list it on their site. Therefore, they're going to be listed on their terms. So they want funny and most sarcastic bad reviews. Will get free tickets to a cooking class, but they will also give 50% off to anybody who gives them a 1-star review. So they've turned the tables on Yelp, and they are so busy because of it. So that's what they've done. I think it's brilliant. It's a brilliant campaign. This is also called the 1-star campaign that Snowbird, which is a skiing resort in Utah. I was actually there for the Dental Intel Summit, which was last year in September. And I actually saw this campaign in action. I think it's brilliant as well. So they got these bad reviews of how difficult things were. Okay, so check this out. So this was some of the ads they did. Too advanced. I heard Snowbird is a tough mountain, but this is ridiculous. I felt like every trail was too steep or was a steep chute or littered with tree wells. How is anyone supposed to ride in that? Not fun. Okay, so that's the ad they did based on that review, 1-star review. Disappointed. Are the people who operated the grooming equipment on strike or something? Was hoping for a little more corduroy to dig my skis into. Again, disappointed. Here's another one, no easy runs. So they used their negative reviews in this whole entire campaign. Again, brilliant. Okay. I like this one too. This is not for them, but my wife hated it. 1-star. Beautiful beaches, amazing food, and great cultures. Beautiful women everywhere in the tiniest bikinis. And apparently my wife doesn't like that. Again, brilliant ad campaign that these companies are following. So again, you actually emulate success. This is another company who emulated success. So embrace your 1-star reviews. Don't call me up and tell me my 1-star review is fake. I can tell you, I guarantee you the 1-star review is not fake. It was from a patient who didn't feel comfortable putting their real name on there, and they wrote a review that was real with a fake name. That's what it's about. Okay? So I will tell you what happens when you use a real name under on Google with your real name, with a negative review with your real name. So I had a plumber come out to my office, did a horrible job in my dental office, and he wanted to charge me. He told me he was going to send me to collections. So I wrote a bad review for his plumbing business with my real name. And the very next day, there was a negative review on my dental office, which was completely fake. He said I charged $400 for a crown, which is about $1,400 less than I charge. And the only other review that person left was for the plumber that I had written a bad review for. So completely fake, no patient by that name. That's a fake review. So yes, you risk yourself getting a problem if you use your real name. And that's why that doesn't happen that often. I prove the point, but the wrong reason. So that's why most reviews you get that are negative are not necessarily from patients' names, because they don't use their name. Just keep that in mind. Most negative reviews are real though. So how do you monitor, moderate, and protect your online reputation? So again, this is real. This is a real patient of mine. This was a real review, okay? I felt like I was dealing with a salesperson who was trying to make a decision to make me spend my money, again, it's money related, without giving me a chance to think about it by pushing to make a decision on my first visit. If I'm going to spend that much money, then I have a right to think about it. The dentist is someone I can't trust at all, okay? Trust, not trusting me, not going to buy from me, time to leave. I was trying to find another dentist since my mind moved out of state, but the reviews were completely wrong. So again, it's a money issue. Can't trust me. She's not coming in. She wrote a bad review. It happens. So if you get a bad review, the first thing you got to do is don't panic. Okay? You can't freak out. Don't panic. Calm down and take a deep breath and hold it for about 20 minutes. Because when you hold it for about 20 minutes, you probably will be dead. No, I'm just joking. You probably will be nice and relaxed afterwards, and you will not be emotional. Because if you're emotional, you will respond in a really bad way. Or as Dory says, you want to keep calm and just keep swimming. So a bad review may spoil your breakfast, but it shouldn't allow it to spoil your lunch. And that's my mantra all the time. So do you respond or not? So I know there's a bunch of people. We've got 52 people on here. So I want people to go into the chat real quick. And I'm curious, if you get a negative review, I want to see who is in here. If tell me and say yes or no, would you respond to a negative review or not? Simply say yes or no. Yes, I would, or no, I would not. Who would respond to a negative review? Yes or no? Let's see. Quickly type it in there. Yes or no? Yes, no. I see only 2 responses. Could be quicker than that. No. Let's see what we got here. Yes, no, yes.
The Q&A is at the very bottom of the page.
I got it.
If you don't
I got
see
it. No, I'm already in there. Oh, you're telling them that.
Yeah, the Q&A.
Yeah. Well, they could have put it into the chat too. So I'm looking at both. No, yes, chat. No, yes, yes. So lots of difference. Yes, yes. If you respond always, no. If you don't, yes, yes. So lots of different answers here. So nobody put it depends, which I think is really the answer I would use. It really depends. There you go. Someone said depends finally. Okay. So it does depend in my opinion. So we'll talk about that now. So if you do respond, you always say you're sorry. Even if you're not sorry, you have to say you're sorry. It's just the protocol. Okay. So I'm sorry you had this experience. Even if you don't want to say that, you have to say you're sorry. It's an expectation. So keep that in mind. So, but you have to be super careful about HIPAA, because I can tell you most people who respond to negative reviews violate HIPAA always. Okay. So like this guy here. So this is an example of, this is just his example of his response. All of our 1-star reviews come from patients demanding free work. And we said, no, drug addicts, crazy, unreasonable people who haven't never been here aren't patients. In this case, the patient was dismissed from our clinic for endangering his own life. He later came back and had to be escorted out by the police, blah, 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 blah. You can't say that. Okay. Then this one here is, it says his response was, thanks, Dwight. Your case is going really well. Glad we would close your gap in your front tooth today. Like that, you can't do that. You can't respond to a review with by basically saying what you did to the patient. So that is a complete and big HIPAA violation. So a couple of things about HIPAA that I've learned actually, and I've interviewed a couple of lawyers for my podcast as well to learn a lot of this stuff, is that acknowledgement is in fact a HIPAA violation. Acknowledgement for a positive review is not going to get you into any trouble because the patient left a positive review. You have to be careful about a negative review, acknowledging it simply because the patient may be crazy enough to report you for acknowledging that they're a patient. So you just got to be careful. Simply, I'm sorry, please contact the office to discuss your concerns is good enough, or office policy is that, we don't treat patients this way, or something like that. Again, you're responding, you can do that. I mean, you're not violating anything by doing that, but generic statements like that is not a violation of HIPAA. But acknowledging a patient is technically a HIPAA violation, just so you know. But also, if you are completely out of network with any insurance company and you don't submit claims to the insurance company for the patient, you are not subject to HIPAA anyway, just so you know. Okay. Another thing is people have written to me, well, the president waived HIPAA during COVID. That is not for reviews. That's for teledentistry. So that doesn't waive HIPAA for these review requests, just so you know either. So this was a review that I responded to on Facebook. And this is how I think you should do it on Facebook if you can. But this was a patient, a legitimate patient. He was overcharged. His review was legitimate, and he yelled it. But every single time I've been there, the charge quoted is never even close to what I get charged. I was not in the office that evening. I was at a gala event with my wife, and somebody screwed up in my office. I responded like literally 30 minutes later. Jim, I will check it out when I get to the office tomorrow and see what the issue is. Not sure about billing on the extraction. Should not have been charged any more than I stated. We'll follow up personally with you tomorrow, which I did. I fixed the problem. He commented that I fixed the issue. He apologized. A couple other people went on there and we had a whole conversation on Facebook. Different situation on Facebook, in my opinion, because it's a conversation. It's not a review. This was a post. So you can handle this a little differently, in my opinion. This is the perfect response to a review, which is why it made it into my book. This is my oral surgeon. Basically, the review was that he waited forever in the office, and this is their response. I want to apologize and thank you for sharing your recent experience at our practice. We take great pride in providing each patient with the best quality of personalized care. Unfortunately, on the day of your appointment, our servers went down and delaying our surgeries and appointments. We truly understand how valuable your time is and want to again apologize and thank you for your patience. We are actively working with our IT company to ensure unexpected disturbances to our service do not happen again. Although our collective apologies will not change your experience, I hope you find comfort in knowing your feedback was taken seriously. You can't get a better response than that. That is perfect. This is not perfect. So this is a friend of mine. He's actually in Columbia, in South Carolina. I'm in need of an emergency dental appointment based on the responses left for some of these unsatisfied clients. I will drive to the beach. Thank you. We prefer not to see stupid people who make judgments without any knowledge. That's not how you want to respond. Worst experience ever. I had to pay up front even though I had insurance, was told I'd get it reimbursed. We require payment up front because too many people lie about having dental insurance when they no longer have a job. The elderly woman in the reception area is one of the rudest individuals. That happens to be his mother. If we are so bad, why do you keep coming back? So that's not how you want to respond to these reviews. Okay, be careful. This is, I think he's made a joke out of it over the years, but not how you want to respond. This can get you into, some deep doo-doo. So I'm curious. This is a client of mine back in 2013. That was the worst experience I had at any dentist. Okay. So again, I'm curious from a Q&A perspective here. What would people do here? Would they respond? Would they ignore it? What would they do here? Respond, no response. Type it into the chat. Response, no response. Let's see some responses. Who would respond to this? I don't see anybody chatting. Respond. What could we do to make it better? Okay. There's Ashley's response. What else? Not a difficult question, guys. Let's go. One person is letting me know what they would do. Wow. Okay. So, well, respond. Thank you for your feedback. 2 responses. Okay. Anybody else? Right. Just put it into the Q&A, guys. You can't chat. You got to put it into the Q&A. No response. Depends. What does it depend on? So, respond, no response. Okay. So just so you know here, I advised him not to respond here. This is the worst experience I ever had in dentist. It doesn't really say anything. I would just leave it alone if it was me. I think you risk too much. Let crazy people lay low. You never want to unravel that dragon. But this is their response. He didn't listen to me, of course. And this was the response. And it doesn't really matter what they wrote. They apologized, but they ended up saying, we hope that you found a reputable dentist that will provide you with the best care. Okay. Yes, you want to know what's wrong. Well, they tried to get that from the patient. But what happens when a patient writes a review and you respond? That patient can re-respond. And guess what? This patient re-responded, and boy, did they re-respond. So check this out. You ready? This was their re-response. Boom, and boom, and boom. And it was a novel. And this is up literally 7 years later. It's been viewed 1,400 times. So this backfired on this practice. So I would be very careful when you respond to a negative review. And these are some examples of that. Be very careful. Okay. Here's another one. Stay away. He is a sadist. Kept me in pain for weeks with a post sticking straight up when he did his root canal. Not his root canal, but his root canal. He was lingered for weeks. So again, this guy called me on the phone. He was very upset. He was yelling and screaming. I think he was throwing something against the wall, maybe a cup or a plate, because I heard something breaking in the background. He was really mad. So again, you have to calm down when you get a bad review. And I told him, do not respond. Okay. But he did. He spelled a lot of things wrong. Look, insurance is spelled wrong. Negative reviews that are spelled wrong are even better. Okay. He couldn't spelled wrong, root canal a couple times. Okay. But anyway, he did respond, and he told the guy, he called him an F in this and F in that. It was not good. Okay. So do not respond. This is how I want you to handle negative reviews. So this is me again. This is real. Okay. This was a Facebook review. that was left for me. She also left a Google and Yelp review. She hit the trifecta. Okay. Basically, I am out of network with every insurance company in my practice. And we were quoted some very incorrect fees for this procedure. She had scaling and root planing done. We found out after the first set of scalings that it was very incorrect. So we told the patient she owed this additional money. And I realized the mistake, went down and spoke to her myself. She went on to these 3 different sites and told me I was a scammer, blah, 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 blah. Now, I did not realize at the time this was posted, but I decided prior that I would call her and tell her that I was going to eat the cost, but I would still charge her regular copay that we told her. So I was planning on fixing the issue. So I called her on the phone, explained what the problem was. I took responsibility, even though it was not my responsibility. I basically ate the fee on my end, just charged her copay. She ended up changing her review because I fixed the problem. And she changed it to a 3-star review because I fixed the problem. Okay. Keep that in mind. So, because I fixed the problem, I took it offline. I did not write anything online. I do not like responding to these reviews in a public forum. Here's another one. 1-star review in 2017. The patient actually wrote, he loved the office, he loved the team, he loved me, but he wanted a free cleaning that he wasn't eligible for. He had not been to the dentist in 35 years. He had so much calculus sticking off his teeth. If you looked at him, you'd be stuck by the calculus. Okay. So I texted him. Here's the text message I sent him. Okay. I said, you did not get a free cleaning because you weren't eligible because you had gum disease. And I sent him over here a picture of the deal he had purchased. Okay. So I sent this to him and he literally wrote back to me, "Doctor, I already took down all the reviews I posted. I would appreciate a note stating I had gum disease." And then I said, "Of course, I will get you a letter. Thank you. I will post a new and positive review based on my true reflection." So literally, he fixed it. As soon as I told him what the issue was, he fixed the review. My suggestion, take it offline, attempt to fix it before you respond at all online, because many times you'll correct it and the patient will take action because you corrected it. They want to feel listened to. Another example, and unfortunately I didn't save the response, but I had a patient who was in Invisalign for about 5 years, almost 6 years, and it was going nowhere. And I was very direct with the patient, too direct, and she got really mad at me. And my team said, "She's going to leave a bad review for you." And she did. But I was on a plane trip from Philadelphia to the CDA. Actually, it's a year ago this weekend because I literally was supposed to go to CDA today, but they canceled it. So it was a year ago this weekend. And I texted her on the plane because I couldn't do anything while I was on the plane. I couldn't call her, but I texted her, "I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I apologize. This is what I can do to rectify the situation." And she texted me back literally a second later, "Thank you so much for getting in touch with me. I never wanted to leave the practice. This is what I want done. Thank you so much." And she changed it to a 5-star review because I dealt with the issue. Okay. This is what I teach all of my clients. This is what I teach in my group. This is a 1-star review that a pediatric dentist got in Indiana. And she was freaking out. She contacted me on my cell phone. She was so upset. She got a 1-star review. It was all about, it was like $2.65 or something they were complaining about. I said, "Call the patient yourself. Do not do it. Do not let a person in the office do it." So she was so afraid to call. I said, "Just take care of it. Watch what happens." And the very next day, this patient literally posted a 5-star review that the doctor is very respectful and courteous. She has been our pediatric dentist for over 8 years. Our girls love her. That was the change in one day. From a 1-star review to a 5-star review. This works great. You just have to do it yourself. Don't let a team member do it. I'm telling you, it works. This is the secret to getting reviews fixed. Fix the problem. What you don't want to do is you do not want to sue a patient for leaving a review. This is a New York endodontist who sued 4 patients for leaving a negative Yelp review. Do not do that. That's bad. Okay. This was the review that he sued one of the patients for. I'll paraphrase. He saw the patient. Patient waited 2 hours and 15 minutes to see the dentist. He saw the dentist for 30 minutes and was sent back to the general dentist for a possible cavity. That's what the review is about, and he sued the patient. Do not do that. You will forever be killed in the news because it will make news, and you'll ever get this questionable legal threat on your Yelp page that will never go away. That never disappears. Keep that in mind. Okay? Don't sue. Dentists sue each other. These were partners in New Jersey. They broke up. They had divorce in dentistry. They wrote bad reviews about each other, and then they sued each other. Don't do that either. That's stupid as well because it makes the news, and I get to talk about you. So don't do that either. A perfect business isn't one with perfect reviews. It's one that deals with feedback and reviews perfectly. So how do you deal with negative reviews? You cannot please everyone. You want to have a nice amount of positives, but negative reviews are okay. Your Google My Business will allow you to respond as well, but you want to use that feedback constructively. So how can a bad review be good for your business? It identifies areas of improvement. Bad reviews or misspelled reviews make you look real, like that one review I showed you. It makes you more competitive because you want to do better. But more importantly, it offers you an opportunity to turn your critics into your fans. And all of those patients that I fixed their problem turned into lifelong patients in my practice that are still there because I fixed their issues. And that's what they're looking for. Patients leave negative reviews because they're not listened to. They don't feel like they're being listened to. Once they feel listened to, they will fix that review. I'm telling you, it happens all the time. So here's some things that are not to do. So, the Google and the FTC will not let you care, okay, that you paid for a review. So you do not want to pay for a review. No paying for reviews. You cannot incentivize for any review at all, okay? So take that off your list. No incentivizing. You can incentivize your team to help get reviews, but you cannot pay a patient in any way, shape, or form for a review. Okay. Again, you don't want to sue. This was a dentist who sued a competitor. So the story goes that the dentist went to a weekend course, probably Invisalign or 6 month smiles or something. And then the orthodontist went and wrote a bad review about the dentist for doing a weekend course for orthodontics. Like, don't do that. That's just stupidity. Okay. You can incentivize for reviews, like I said, and Yelp actually incentivizes their Yelpers, their elite clients, to rat out their dentists or businesses who are paying for reviews. So here's a dentist, Monica Pardo, in Glendora, California, who is offering free tickets to Disneyland, I think they're talking about, in exchange for 5-star reviews. So that's a pretty expensive review for a ticket to Disneyland. This is Premier Dental Care, who is offering a positive review in exchange for a $30 credit towards their next visit. And watch how minimalistic this gets. This was Significant Orthodontics that was offering a free whitening pen in exchange for a 5-star review. And again, the reason they know this happens is because the dental patient rats out the dentist. So crazy. Do not offer anything because you don't know when you're going to get into trouble. So you cannot have a kiosk in your office to get a review. Not allowed. Can't do that. No kiosks in your office because they share an IP address. And also Google is geo-targeting the reviews while they're in the office from a location perspective, and they do not want them all from the same exact location. Can't do that either. And this is why they cannot collect reviews from the office, because they have the same IP address. Again, Yelp will give you this, what I call a scarlet letter, so you can't have that either. So sometimes the most important sense is to use your common sense. So please use common sense. If there's a potential that it's not right, stop doing it. So how do you get found in a compelling way? How do you generate more reviews? Okay, so the secret is patient reviews are now one of the biggest factors in local search. So you want reviews of a higher velocity, usually within 2 months, ideally 2 weeks. But again, 4.5 to 4.9 is the perfect score in my opinion. So you must collect reviews from your happy patients. That's the best way to do it. But I don't want you to ask for a review. I want you to ask for feedback about the patient's experience. So I want to share with you a couple of ineffective ways to generate reviews. So just asking is obviously the cheapest way to do it, but it's the most ineffective way. If you ask 100 patients, you're lucky if you get 2 to 5 reviews in general, okay? That's generally the numbers we see. You can hand the patient a card that has a QR code which they'll scan. How do we do today? You can put this card in their hygiene bag. See how they do that way? Love this card. Log into a Google account from a computer connected to the internet. Why don't you tell them to turn it on the computer first? Navigate to the Google local site. There's actually a link that you can click. It's blue. So you can click it with your mouse and it will take you there. Of course, that doesn't work. It's not even a card that makes sense. I love these products, RevenueWell, Lighthouse, Solution Reach, Demand Force. They're all great communication software. I've been a RevenueWell user for a long time. I've used Lighthouse in the past. They're great communication softwares, but generally you find that these programs will take your reviews to their microsite in general. Again, I use them, but the reviews go to their Rate a Business site. Solution Reach has a Solution Reach site. Demand Force has their own page. RevenueWell has the Patient Connect 365 page. Again, they're great communication software. They're great for emailing. They're great for confirmations and recare campaigns, those things, but they're not as good at getting reviews. So I've interviewed over the last 7 years I've been involved in this space. I've interviewed thousands of patients to ask them, why don't they do a Google review? And these are the answers I've been given. And this is like Family Feud. There's the top 8 answers on the board, and number 9 is actually hidden right now. So they don't have time. They forget. There's too many steps. Out of sight, out of mind. They don't know what to write. They don't know how to do it. They don't have a Google account. So I just was talking to a woman today. She had no idea you needed a Google account to write a Google review. And they are not asked to write a review. So those are the main reasons. But the number one reason by far why a patient doesn't do a Google review is they don't know their Google password. And that's one of the biggest limiting factors, is they can't remember their password. So I'm going to share with you some really quick way to get reviews from your patients. And we recommend doing it via by text, not email. And these are patients of mine in my office. And you can see they've had 94,000 unread emails and 113,000 unread emails. That's a lot of unread emails. So sending an email to them is not going to get it done. Okay. Now I'm not, unfortunately, in a place, we're virtual, but I'm sure there's some people on this call that can look at their email inbox and tell me they have 100,000 unread emails. I'm sure there's someone on this call. Okay. The winner in my class is this woman. This is a dentist that had 425,000 unread emails. Is there anybody on this call that has that many, or even close to that number? I'm sure there is. But we don't open emails up generally. So you want to send these patients a text message. Okay. So this is what a text message would look like. You put a logo or a photo of your team, and there's a link in there that takes them directly to Google. And I'll show you quickly how this works. Okay, this is a question you ask them. We hope that your experience exceeded your expectations and that you want to write a positive review. However, if you're not satisfied, we hope that you will contact us directly to make things right. And there's links to Google and Facebook, and contact us directly. And the reason this works so well is that if they hit the negative, the red button, we apologize. Please tell us how we can improve. And this is direct feedback that I got, and I love sharing this because this is what patients, they want you to read their mind. So this was right around Thanksgiving, and you can see your staff and you are awesome and obviously exceptional in your field, but the price for what I want is really overpriced for me. And I was secretly hoping you were going to work with me more, secretly hoping, like I was supposed to know that he wanted me to give him a bigger discount. He didn't even ask for it. So he sent me this feedback directly to me after the appointment. So I read this and I responded immediately to him. This was like 10 minutes later. And here's the email I wrote to him. I wrote him an email and he responded right back. I honestly appreciate the fact you'll talk to me about price. I sincerely appreciate it and happily accept what you're willing to adjust towards the total. I know it's stated in my email, blah, blah, blah. Why are you not sleeping? You're always working. Have a great holiday. This was right around Thanksgiving last year. But the point is, this is how you take patients' feedback and work with it to make a really, really happy patient. Okay. So this is how this type of software works, just so you can see how easy it is for a patient to do a review when they're using some software. So they click the link on Google, takes them right to Google. We know their information. They write the review and they're done. That's how easy a platform is. And again, I wasn't trying to pitch you anything, but if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me and I'll give you my information. But I wanted to show you that this is why reviews are important, because you want them writing some stuff about you, especially when it comes to COVID, really easy after their appointment. That's the point of this type of platform. And it's by text message, not by email. So we're perfect timing here. And I love this, how to quickly and easily write a Google review. This is manually what is required from a patient. It's 14 steps long. They're not going to do this manually. That's why they never do it. You want to make it easy on them. These are the steps that you need to do. So I showed you at the very beginning of the seminar that really, really bad review that I had gotten from that patient, that scathing review, which is literally one of the worst reviews I've ever gotten, which is why I show it. That same day, this review came in, and this is actually from a dentist. And you start off your day really bad. You got this horrible review. Well, your day will end much easier when you get a review like this. Always a great experience, no matter what you come here for. I am a dentist myself, and I can tell you an okay experience from a great experience. I wouldn't trust my own health to Dr. Tao if it wasn't anything but great dentistry and team. Highly recommend. So you start your day off bad, you end it great. And that's the point of this, because the great reviews come in a lot more frequently than the bad reviews. And this is what you expect almost all the time. 98% of the time, you're going to get something like this. So the best way to overwhelm a bad review, simply getting more positive reviews. That's the best result. So what are the best practices for online reviews? So it must be a part of your daily practice. It's imperative that you institute an online review process in your office. It needs to be an everyday part of your business. Ooh, that's weird. It must be simple. If it's not simple, they're not going to do it. Reviews boost your ranking. Your reviews can help your Google ranking. More reviews, more citations, which we didn't cover, you have a better ranking. The best way to overcome a bad review is to overwhelm them with good reviews. A large body of reviews is a good insurance policy. Don't fake anything. The reviews need to be real. Do it right. You want to learn the terms of service of encouraging reviews. Look at Facebook, look at Google, look at Yelp, look at all these other sites. Make sure you know what you're doing. Be you. Do not own the reviews. Don't overreact. Dealing with bad reviews can be tricky. Overreacting can be worse. Keep your eye on your reviews. Vigilance is the best weapon against bad reviews. You can also set up Google alerts and get some alerts that you actually got a review. Reviews are a tool. Think of reviews as a tool for your practice, not a hindrance. They can bring you great success. Spread the wealth. Help out another business in your area by leaving a review for them. If they use you, they may do the same in return. And abundance pays. Goodwill you might spread might just return back to you. So here are the conclusions. Your reputation is your most valuable asset. You do have control. Negative reviews, can create buzz if handled appropriately. The best strategy for handling bad reviews, get more good reviews. Offices with perfect reviews look inauthentic, and you want to ask your happy patients to provide feedback about their experiences. So I do have a podcast. We just changed the logo and everything else. So this is going to look differently probably next week. It's called the Raving Patients Podcast. It comes out weekly. So if you like podcasts, it's not only on reviews, it's on growing your business. Please subscribe and listen to it. I do have a Facebook group. Chuck was just on it today on my Facebook Live. I do it every day at 1 o'clock usually. I did it at 10:30 today though. It's called the Raving Patients Facebook group. There's no sales allowed. It's a lot of just back and forth between myself and some industry leaders, a lot of interaction about reviews and growing your business, a lot of PPP and PPE talk right now, but feel free to join. If you have a friend of mine in the group, it will probably just join you automatically, but it's called the Raving Patients Facebook group. I have a book as well called Raving Patients. It's eligible when I do these meetings. You can get a free book. You just pay for shipping, but you can go to dentalstores.com/raving free book. Again, you're just paying for shipping. It's available on Kindle as well right now. It will be on Amazon starting in July 11th it comes out on Kindle, on Amazon. But it's the definitive guide to using reputation marketing to attract hundreds of new patients to your practice. This is my information. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, this is my contact information, my cell phone, my email, and there's a link to schedule a demo with me. I'm available all the time, guys. I make myself available for this type of stuff. Again, this is my contact information. I'm sure Kay will be able to give you the information as well. And I always love to end these with 2 words, and they're the words I live by. Remember, your reputation matters. And I thank you so much for listening. I think we have a few minutes for questions. I hope you enjoyed that. Kay, thank you for having me. I hope you enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, that was amazing. I get this all the time, and I've actually watched your podcast, so I absolutely love it when you talk about this. So I think there was a lot of really good information that came out of this. I can't tell you, look at all the notes I took. I mean, I took tons of notes. We talk a lot, but I've never really gotten to sit down and go over this topic. And I think, with all the clients we work with, they always panic. And that was the one thing you said not to do, is don't panic. Think it through before you respond. And I would recommend anyone go and definitely follow your podcast, because they can learn a lot from that, and it's ongoing, right?
Yeah, right now it's an ongoing Facebook Live that we're doing, but it's probably going to be coming out, because I've done so many Facebook Lives that are going to be on the podcast. It's probably going to be twice a week releases starting in a couple weeks, Tuesday and Friday. But it's been gaining interest because of what I'm doing on these Facebook Lives. So.
Well, I think I'm going to be one of your guests next
yes.
in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, Kay will be a guest on Let's see. When are you on? You were on the 26th, Tuesday the 26th.
Yeah, so please come on and see me. So we just want to finish it up real fast. Again, thank you so much. Amazing. Well done. I learned a lot. Save the dates, guys. We have some other free webinars that are coming up. So please make sure you save the dates. You can actually scan the QR code and it will automatically put all the dates on your phone. Just take your phone and scan it. Tomorrow, you know, we're getting a lot of doctors who are considering selling their practices right now. So we have our transitions partner on coming on, Jim Clark. And if you're interested in selling, you know, what you should be looking at and what, so that's going to be very interesting. So that's going to be tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And then we have another Bill's coming on and we're going to be talking about more OSHA. OSHA has been a really big topic, or infection control, I should say. And then we have a panelist discussion. So that's going to be really good. We're going to have 4 doctors and 4 hygienists on, and we're going to talk about like what they're dealing with when they're reopening their practices. So that's going to be on Wednesday at 2 to 4. So please make sure you join us for that. And then I think that's it. So is that it? Yeah, and then we have Manal's going to be coming on, and she's going to be doing marketing, like exactly what he said. How do you market all the new stuff that you're doing in your practice? It's going to be a workshop. It's going to be phenomenal. It's from 11 to 1. It's 2 days. And that's going to be coming up on May 18th. And then also that same day, we're having Catherine Itel on, and she's going to be doing a workshop. And this is where she's going to be really working with your team members on telephone techniques in this time, and how do we answer the questions so that we all answer them the same. That's going to be on May 18th and 19th. And is that it, Leah? Again, we want to thank you. Thank you so much. You did an amazing job. We absolutely enjoyed it. If for any reason, and we will be sending you the Q&A, so if you could just fill them out, we make sure we send them out to everyone. So any of the questions that came up, we'll definitely make sure that everyone gets a response. If you have any questions or any feedback, anything else that you would like to see, please let us know. You can email me at practicecoaching@benco.com. Again, that's practicecoaching@benco.com. And we'll be happy to make sure we follow up with you on any questions that you may have. And just know that your CEs will take about 30 days, but you will receive them. Again, thank you very much, and everyone have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Kay. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. You did great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.